Hello and welcome back to Shakespeare's Test Kitchen.
Episode 7. That was a premature second. You're a child.
Things are looking hopeful. People are going back out into the streets. They're getting vaccinated and they're taking their masks off and maybe seeing other people face to face and not on Zoom.
As we all begin reacquainting ourselves with the nuances of face-to-face social interaction and the requisite personal hygiene, we thought that now would be the perfect time to introduce that famous Elizabethan era breath mint,
Suckets!
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 The name Sucket is pretty self-explanatory. Rather than chewing and swallowing these little sweet treats, with the aim of sweetening your breath, you would pop one in your mouth and suck it.
Now, rather than the traditional Elizabethan sweetener, which would have been honey, they were actually sweetened with the far more extravagant and exciting sugar.
Sugar was first introduced in England during the 13th century by returning crusaders. Like the spices that we've talked about in previous episodes, sugar was considered exotic and it was wildly expensive.
So they put it on fruit and vegetables and meat, and they threw it in their wine called sack.
Queen Elizabeth was famous for her fondness for sugar, which in later life made her famous for tooth decay.
One French ambassador actually wrote this about her appearance. Her teeth are very yellow and unequal. Many of them are missing, so one cannot understand her easily when she speaks quickly.
Oh.
Poor Queen Elizabeth, she was disgusting.
The state of her oral hygiene was further compromised by the unfortunate Tudor practice of using a paste made of sugar as a tooth polish. Rub it directly into your blackened, rotting teeth, and they'll just be clean as a whistle in no time.
Whether to flatter or imitate or to exaggerate their importance in the Elizabethan court, noble people used to blacken their teeth to look more like Queen Elizabeth.
Whoa. I've got my sparkly dress on, I've got my big wig on, and my pearls. What does this outfit mean?
I wore some pretty ridiculous sunglasses in my time and had some pretty huge socks during the 80s, but for God's sake, I didn't blacken my teeth to try to make them look more like they were rotting out of my head.
While peasants might go their entire lives without ever even tasting it, sugar had reached its zenith of superstar popularity in Shakespeare's day. By our count, he mentions it 17 times in 12 different plays. In Henry IV, Part 1, Falstaff, that famous lover of food and drink, exclaims,
"If sack and sugar be a fault, God help the wicked."
Amen!
Suckets were actually immensely popular in Elizabethan England, but they remained popular for a long time after. We actually have references to lemon suckets in a number of different American cookbooks, including Martha Washington's cookbook that featured recipes that were served in Mount Vernon.
Holy smokes! We found an early recipe published by John Partridge in 1653 in his book titled The Treasury of Commodious Conceits and Hidden Secrets, commonly called The Good Housewife's Closet of Provision for the Health of Her Household, subtitled Gathered out of Sundry Experiments lately practiced by men of great knowledge and now newly enlarged with diverse necessary physic helps and knowledge of the names and disposition of diseases that most commonly happen in men and women, not impertinent for every good housewife to use in her house among her own family. Well, I'm glad it's not impertinent.
At least it's in her own family.
John Partridge's original recipe was called To Make Sucked of Peels of Lemons. And that's just what we're gonna do today. You can easily replace the lemons with oranges if you prefer.
Or you could use the Tudor favorite Angelica, which is a member of the parsley family. And you can find it if you go to a grocery store that specializes in Southeast Asian food. It's quite tasty and originally was used to ward off witches and cure the plague.
Bonus!
Which didn't work. For our modern version of the recipe, you're gonna need 3 lemons, 2 cups of sugar, a tablespoon of rose water, and water for the boiling. Cut your 3 lemons in half, and juice them.
You can either scoop out any remaining membrane and pulp with a spoon, or cut the peels into quarters and remove the membrane with a vegetable peeler or a knife.
Now you rinse off your lemon peels and you cut them into eighths. 1 pint of cold water. Put the lemon peels in. Boil them for 10 minutes. Boil.
A watch pot never boils. After 10 minutes, drain the peels, add a pint of fresh water, and repeat the process.
Drain the peels and add a quart of water and cook until the peels are tender and can easily be pierced with a fork. Drain the peels again, this time reserving 2 cups of water for making the syrup.
Add your 2 cups of reserved water and 2 cups of sugar and 1 tablespoon of rose water over medium heat and cook until your syrup is clear.
Grandma.
You can really smell the grandma.
At this point, you add the lemon peel to the boiling sugar and you reduce the heat. Cook the lemon peels until they are translucent and the syrup becomes the consistency of honey. Be very careful. Sugar burns really quick. Watch it.
Watch it.
Watch it.
Once your peel is translucent, and your sauce has thickened, you are going to remove it from the heat, cover, and set it aside to cool.
These are what we call wet suckets. Not to be confused with the dry sucket. The dry sucket, you would simply drain off the syrup and roll them in sugar. Wet sucket, dry sucket.
You're a child. I think we should do a taste test. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, so lemony.
How's my breath?
Oh. So lemony. It's chewy, like a dried apricot. Wet suckets.
We're gonna taste a wet sucket. I prefer the wet sucket.
I totally do too. I like the consistency of the dry sucket, but you get more of the lemon from the wet sucket. And
I agree.
want it to be lemonier.
Cooking lemon peel in sugar water with a little bit of rose water in it really makes the kitchen smell amazing.
It smells terrific.
I mean, it's really great.
So while Chris drinks the sucket syrup, I'm going to give you some good news. Great River Shakespeare Festival is back this summer. We are happening live, in person, in Winona. We will move outside for 1 year only. For tickets and more information, please visit grsf.org. We'll see you in Winona this summer.
Don't miss it. It's going to be a great summer.
Yeah, these are not good for your teeth. Brush your teeth after you eat these, or you'll end up like Queen Elizabeth.
That syrup would be amazing for cocktails.
That's a great idea.
It's like a simple syrup with way more complexity. We got to figure out a cocktail for that.
Suck it cocktail.
Suck it on the rocks. You know what we really need to do? Shakespeare's Happy Hour.